Yeah, I'll take it in just a second. So, all right, I turn the camera on. This is the release that you have to sign that says that you acknowledge that this course is being recorded, that you might be on camera, and that it will be broadcast on YouTube. So again, if you're in the witness protection program, this is not going to work out so well for you. Come see me, we'll in another class. It'll be beautiful. You'll love that person. Not as much as you'll love me, but you'll love them, I'm sure. So please sign this. I need to have these back. If you were not here on Tuesday, we went over the syllabus on Tuesday, and you told me that we went and covered it all. I didn't think we got to the article review, but apparently we have. I will talk a little bit more about that when the time comes. When it gets closer in terms of what I'm looking for in that, I may provide you with a substantive example of what will make a good article review, and also that will help you with your group projects and writing your group project stuff. Next week, because I want you to look at the syllabus and think about this, because next week's critical thinking, one of the ones that we're going to do, is going to be on calculating the weighted average. So pay close attention to the syllabus in the grading and how your grade is calculated. For some reason, weighted averages seem to be a mystery to a lot of my students. So I'm going to give you examples of students' grades. I'm going to come up with some hypothetical students and have you calculate whether or not they should take the final exam. So basically, because there are opportunities for bonus points, all of you who are here on Tuesday got some bonus points for your answers to the first critical thinking challenge. There may be more. If you exceed the number of points in the critical thinking challenges category that are necessary to complete 100% of that category, all of those excess bonus points, along with points that you may earn for surveys that we'll do throughout the semester, will go towards your exam score. So pay attention to that part of the syllabus, and we'll do a critical thinking challenge in which I ask you to figure out whether or not 3 students should have to take the final, or whether it's beneficial for them to take the final exam in this class. Are there any questions on that? No? All right, good deal. So, in the last 10 years, so we're going to begin by talking about sort of an overview of marketing. And in the last 10 years, we have seen radical transformations in all facets of our lives, particularly with regard to technology and the impact that has on everyday things that we do. And it has certainly impacted marketing, the way we sell goods and services. 20 years ago, and you will see me holding my cell phone throughout this course a lot, and it's not because I'm sitting here texting, which most of you are doing. I can see you. I know you think I can't, but I can see when you look down, you're doing this. You're texting. It's not because I'm texting. It's because I can control the camera at the back of the room with this device. So I can start it, stop it, and zoom in. I can see what's going on the screen. And if I turn the volume up, it will even play it back to me, and you get this sort of strange echo. That's pretty sophisticated technology that people wouldn't have even thought about 20 years ago. We had video recording 20 years ago. I remember the first video recorder that my family bought back in 1982. It was a Betamax. You all have never even heard of Betamax. It came out before VHS tapes, which are now ancient dinosaurs. You had to carry this thing around, these cables, and it looked almost like something that you would use if you were a news crew today. That camera back there is better quality, has better sound and picture than that huge device that my family bought back in the 1980s. And there was no remote control for that camera. So, given that we've had this technological revolution that applies to everything, from the way we take and share pictures, do any of you actually print off pictures anymore? Why? For what? To put them on. You have a wall. It's called Facebook. You know, why not just put it on Facebook? Given that we have this technology that has really, in many respects, shrunk the world, today in your groups, the critical thinking challenge is an understanding of history important for today's marketers, and why? Is an understanding of history, given the fact that we have these radical transformations in the way we market things, is an understanding of history important for marketers, and why or why not? You have 10 minutes. Somebody write down your answer in your group, put all your group members' names on there, put your team name at the top of the paper. Yes, ma'am. Do you have to bring your book to class? You don't have to do anything. It's a relatively free country. In spite of the fact that George Bush has done his best when he was president to destroy that. It's a relative, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to take the exams if you don't want. Huh? You're welcome to bring it. You can use it as a resource for critical thinking challenge. If you actually want to look at stuff in the book, it might be helpful, but it's not required. All right, I'll give you about 10 minutes. So is this important? Why or why not? Come up with an answer that we'll discuss with you. Bring it down.
Yeah, I'm taking a lab.
I'm right on time. So I asked you, and we're going to hear your responses. I hope everybody's thought about a plan to respond. And before I ask you for your responses, maybe you might want to think about this. So I was listening to a lecture on history from a historian at the University of Texas at Austin named H.W. Brands. He is a brilliant thinker, in my opinion. And he's written a number of books. His most recent book is on the presidency of Ronald Reagan. And the University of Texas at Austin has the second largest endowment in the nation behind Harvard. They 3 times rejected George W. Bush for admission to their law school, proving that they have higher standards than Harvard, which admitted him for an MBA degree. And Brands argues, as he's talking about this book that I went to listen to him talk about, which was on Ulysses S. Grant, that wars produce winners and losers. And that's the great thing about war. There's a clear winner and a clear loser. And so I started thinking about this and thinking about, is history really important? And I asked him, I piped up and I said, well, Dr. Brands, is that really true in a postmodern world? Has the United States won a war since World War II? Have we won a war since World War II? What wars have we fought since World War II? Korea. We fought Korea, right? Almost instantly after World War II, we fought Korea. Did we win that war? What did it end in? What happened in Korea?
Still divided.
It's still divided. It ended in a draw. Did we win the war in Vietnam? No. Did the Vietnamese win the war in Vietnam? I don't know that they did. We destroyed their country and their infrastructure. Did they win? I don't know that they won. I don't know that we won. Who lost more bodies in that war? The United States or the Vietnamese? They did. Did they win? I don't know. We fought a war in Iraq. The first time. Did we win that war? I don't know. We said mission accomplished. We got them out of their invasion of Kuwait. Did we win? Did we win the most recent war in Iraq? I don't know. Have they won? I don't know. I don't know that wars produce winners and losers anymore. It's not clear to me that anybody's won any of those battles. So with that in mind, let's hear your responses to is history, and we make you take courses in history, important in marketing today. So, I'm going to move the camera so that I can get you. Your leaders. All right, who wants to go first? Who wants to go? Come on, somebody's got to have a response.
History is definitely still important because humans are still humans. That hasn't changed. The way that we reach people now has become what's changed, but you can learn from past marketing schemes what worked, what didn't work, why it worked and why it didn't work, and apply that to today's world.
Okay, so you think that you can learn from the past and build on it?
Absolutely.
Okay. Even if you have radically different technology?
Even if you have radically different technology, because people are still people.
Okay. All right. Who else wants to go? All right, let's hear it. We'll go with you, and then you can have the next one.
So we're the money team. We play the devil's advocate on this and put yes and no. It's important to understand trends and what marketing techniques worked or didn't work. However, marketing is extremely progressive, and you must work in the present and constantly innovate for the future.
Okay. So you took a yes and no. It's important, but you have to modify maybe
Yes.
based on what you've learned in the past. The historian William Durant said that the only lessons of history are that people never learn the lessons of history. Right? And maybe if we'd listened to that, if we'd thought about that when they said Iraq was not going to become Vietnam, it became a lot like Vietnam, didn't it? All right, so.
We said yes because marketers should be aware of the past in order to make decisions to better the future. In the marketing world, everything is constantly changing. To be on top of your industry, you have to stay a step ahead of the present and remind yourself of the past. Being aware of the past and knowing that creativity is infinite will help us to further expand into the future.
Okay, so you think that knowing the past can help you maybe avoid mistakes,
Yeah.
right? Yes, ma'am.
I'm just gonna sit.
That's fine.
We said yes, simply because understanding the history allows you to know what actually shaped the field itself. Also, sometimes you come in situations because history so much repeats itself. You want to know what's new and what's technically not new, and you find yourself with history to where you'll make one item or whatever the case may be, and it's technically not new. So then you're finding ways to improve or make that item better. So,
Okay.
I say yes.
All right, so understanding in terms of product, we talk about product incrementally improving, products incrementally there are radical changes sometimes in technology that are disruptive. When we talk about new products, we'll talk about those that disrupt the way we do things. But a lot of human history is just going about incrementally improving things. There's an old saying, you got to build a better mousetrap. And so maybe it's just, right? You'd think a mousetrap is the simplest thing. There's lots of different mousetraps out there now, aren't there? There are the ones that are humane, that for those people who are vegans and love the animals and don't want to harm them. You can basically catch the mouse in this box. They go in and step on a little lever and the thing shuts and you can take them back out in the field and let them go, and 2 days later they're back in your house or whatever. But if that's your thing, you've built a better mousetrap if you want to be ethically sensitive, I guess. All right, who?
Our group talked about kind of some of the repeated stuff, like not repeating bad history, like failed products and failed ads. Let's not go through that again. We also talked about the repeating trends, like other people mentioned. So there's also things about trying to improve on past products or past ads. Like that old model might have been really useful and worked really great, so why not build on that and not completely throw it away because it was old. We also talked about there's always evolving cultural needs, and if you look into the past, you can kind of guess and figure out where you're headed towards. So that can help you with your marketing.
Okay, so you're saying you talked about trends. Where do we see trends? Fashion.
Yeah.
We
actually talked about jelly shoes.
Okay. Is-
Everybody who's the 90s kid.
If you look at the fashion today, what does it look a lot like? A lot of the stuff that, a lot of it looks like the 60s. I mean, it's sort of, that retro is sort of back in. I mean, you can see a lot of the 60s patterns and colors coming back, so maybe that is an example of, you know, how things come back in style, and that might be useful to know. All right, who else wants to share? Let's see, we'll go there, then there, then there.
Our group of marketeers, we said you have to start with the building block. To improve the future, a company must know what worked or didn't work in the past. Also, the market has to know these roles that are ever changing with time. History, for example, women's roles, how children have more influence now than in the past. Everything is a building block. Building on products and other things comes from the past, so to innovate, you have to know what you used to do.
Okay. All right. So that's sort of the, one of the famous physicists once said, if I have seen so far, it's because I stood on the shoulders of giants. And so that understanding that if you can think back towards, you know, I mean, understanding those things in the past can be important in building on the future. All right. Okay. Who else wanted to? Let's see. We said back there, then you, then over here. All right.
Alright, we're at 5, 6, 1. We said yes. A good knowledge of a business's history is important because a company is able to learn from their past mistakes to improve the field, as well as pick and choose what has previously worked well. As it is said, history repeats itself. Many businesses will call upon past achievements and awards to make a name for themselves and stand out. As a product is marketed, pointing out the challenge associated with the lack of that product can be used to convince buyers or users to invest or purchase in a product.
Okay. All right. Very good. Again, that idea of repeating.
Critical exposure, we all agree, absolutely. Analyzing past trends and developments allows marketers to innovate and build upon techniques that have worked before, which gives rise to new and improved approaches to communicate with consumers.
Okay, I like something that you focused on, communication. Good communication is good communication. And that is one of the things that doesn't matter if we transfer the platforms, it's still about making sure that your message resonates, and understanding those communication skills is absolutely essential. And so some of those foundational, and understanding history is important, I think, to understanding what has not worked, what has been problematic in terms of communication in the past, where there's been ambiguity that you've created that has not done well. We see this in the international context, where one of my colleagues in the doctoral program worked for a helicopter company called Swarovski Copters, and when they tried to use their marketing campaign in South America, it didn't work, because their whole campaign in the United States was that you needed this because you're a busy, high-pressured executive and you've got to get there, you know, just in time for those meetings. And that's not the culture or the understanding that was translated into Spanish when they reverse translated in the ads, or when they translated the ads from English to Spanish. It just didn't work. And so I think that's an important point. All right?
We're cultures. We said history is important in such a global market. In today's society, we're reaching such a large audience. We need to know every culture's past and what they've gone through and what they're doing now to progress, so we can actually market towards them. Because like you just said, one product that would work here in America doesn't necessarily reach to another market because of how their past has been compared to ours and what they find is socially and ethically right.
Okay. All right. Very good.
Okay, we're the analytics. Shout out to the Mighty team. I didn't realize that we had to stay in the same thing every time.
You can, if you want to move, you can move.
Okay.
At this point, I mean, at some point, you're going to want to make sure that your teams are kind of cohesive. But at this point, if you want to leave your team, if you want to go to another team and see what they have and steal it and come back, that's okay.
Okay. So discovering and satisfying customer needs is the basis of marketing, and the best way to focus on customer needs is by focusing on the customer benefits, and then also always looking to learn from the past.
Okay. All right. So you've got benefits. That's one of the things we'll talk about. Do people buy features or do they buy benefits? That's important. That kind of concept is important in marketing. Understanding how you can improve upon those. You know, cars are radically different than the Model T, but it's incremental development and that's made it better. We're coming close to having a self-driving car. How many of you look forward to that? Not having to drive? All right. Let's do one more. Oh, we'll do 2 more if you want to.
We're the zealous team, and we said yes, and a lot of it's already been stated, but we said that one of the things that is really important about history is that you can look at how different demographics have been affected by the types of advertising and marketing that you guys have produced. And so you can see what worked and how you can how you can make a marketing plan that is profitable and also is suited for your target market. And also, the past is yesterday, so you can look at something that happened yesterday with the technology that you're still using and see why didn't that work. Let's tweak it, let's figure out how we can make it work even though they couldn't. So we also kind of thought that it's a way of working smarter by saying, okay, even though you couldn't handle it, we can figure out a way to make that work. We like that template, we like the direction it was going, but the execution was poor, so we're going to make it better.
Okay. All right, one of the things that you focused on was, you said target marketing. This is a change in marketing. It used to be we mass marketed for a homogenous population. And now, as a result of this evolution in marketing, we target things much more specifically. And that's as a result of understanding that there are changes, and if you look at those past changes, you can pick up trends and see and maybe fill niche markets that a mass product doesn't necessarily fill. And so it's changed the face of marketing from going from mass production to mass customization. So that's an important point. Okay, one more.
So I'm the dream markers, and we talked about taking things to a new level. Basically, you can have the foundation of the past, and then you can also revolutionize things and take things to a whole new level. So you can take bits and pieces of different things, and that can transform something and make something totally different and totally on a whole new level. So that's one thing that has to be.
Okay, very good. All right, you all did a great job.